This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
All right, it's 11 o'clock. It's Thursday. You know what that means? Time for lunch with Bryan and Steve. Bryan Northcutt, Steve Chambers in studio for episode 10. We're in double digits, Steve. Can you believe we made it?
We're X. Rolling
We're
here,
X, yes.
Who would have? I'd have lost that bet.
So we're glad that you guys have joined us. If you're listening to us live, 1250 AM, 100.9 FM, WZOB. You can also listen to us on WZOBradio.com. Just click the Listen Live button. If you're watching on Facebook or you're at work and you want to pull your computer screen up and click over to Facebook, WZOB Radio on your Facebook page. We're live streaming there. Then, after the show's over, Miss Holly Allen, say hi, Miss Holly.
Hi, Miss Holly.
Hi, Miss Holly.
Wow.
She will archive.
That's a real sweet voice.
That was. It was a very sweet voice versus her normal voice when we're prepping for the show. But
I do not. It's the look.
Enjoy your
look.
pink slip.
but she archives the show on YouTube. So we've got several ways. If you're riding around town, got your radio on in the car, just tune in 1250 AM, 100.9 FM. I do that 100.9 FM because my radio is hardly ever on an AM station. Are there any other AM stations?
Yes.
The one on the mountain's gone.
Yeah, Scottsboro has a great AM station out there with Greg Bell. Yeah.
Okay.
WIIC. I don't mind giving him a shout out. He's kind of like the WZOB of Jackson County.
Okay. Well,
Good job.
good. Well, that would be two stations that you could listen to on
Yeah,
AM
but I think
band.
he is going FM.
No,
so.
Wax. You can pick Wax up here, can't you? 570 out of gas?
What's
Not really,
whack?
because when the FM station in Scottsboro goes out for Alabama games, I try to pick that up, and
It doesn't work?
And that's WUUK in Chattanooga. I can pick up.
Oh, really?
Oh,
FM.
Okay. Well, anyway, 1250 AM, 100.9 FM, Facebook live streaming, WZOB radio.com. Listen live, click there. We got a lot going on. We got the sperm race out in
I
California.
cannot believe you're
So-
going to talk about that.
No, you said that was part of your show.
No.
Like that was the show prep you
I
brought.
was
I'm-
laughing about it off
okay.
the air.
Never mind. Okay, forget it, Steve.
No, go ahead. You've already brought it up. Everybody's like, what?
That's a tease for later. So you got to stay tuned.
I'd enter this race.
Gosh.
Oh my God.
Okay, this episode's not for children.
No, that's right. But,
So-
but it's a good thing you had the restrictions
Oh,
on the
my
YouTube channel.
word.
So what?
I'm sorry, Betsy D. He brought it up. Not me.
No, that's a legitimate scientific word. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Yeah, but anyway.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna drink a sip of my
No, it's
caramel
fine.
macchiato.
We'll talk about it later if anybody's interested.
You don't need to
Let's-
be any more hyper.
If you're listening on Facebook,
Hey, Cooper
comment.
Garrett set a state record for the 6A javelin throw over the last weekend with the state track meet down in Gulf Shores. Lucas Talent signing with Huntington. We'll talk about stuff like that later. Fort Payne softball, unfortunately, has already been eliminated from the playoffs. And the girls' golf team, doggone it. My daughter Sydney and them did not play their best golf, and so they are not going to the state tournament next Monday and Tuesday in Birmingham.
I heard it
So
was bad officiating.
that's the problem with golf, and it's hard to understand that unless you've played it. It is such a challenging game, and as Kramer used to say on Seinfeld, Jerry, the ball's just sitting there and I can't hit it. There's nobody trying to tackle you, nobody chasing you down, nobody trying to block your shot. You got all the time in the world. Just stand there and hit the ball, and you still can't do it. It's unbelievable. So, but congratulations to the girls, Fort Payne girls golf team. I'm real proud of my daughter. She did a great job.
Well,
And
speaking of golf, and this will be the only time you hear me chime in about golf, Harrison Davis,
yeah,
Mississippi State, they moved on.
did they
to
out of
the-
regionals?
Yeah, I think so. Marcy was talking about it. They were at Pebble Beach last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Now that's cool.
I think I went to Geraldine for something, but they were in,
They're in Pebble
they were
Beach.
at Pebble Beach.
And,
and,
just suffering, struggling through. But so anyway, we're glad that
I
you.
wasn't there in, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They're in Reno, Nevada next week.
Oh, that's terrible.
Golly. Marcy said it was for golf. I don't know.
Just shoot a little slots while you're there.
Well, she's sweet, so I believe her.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
But
Anyway, hey, we are rocking and rolling with Lunch with Bryan and Steve, gaining new sponsors. We're going to talk with Chris Dura on the Thrive Outdoor I never
Garden tip of the week.
Garden tip of the week with Thrive
right.
Outdoors. I'm hoping to hear. Let's see. Is he? Yes, he's good for 11:15. So our next segment we'll have Chris Durr on the WZOB hotline. I got a little. Watch this. Check this out. So I got
Sweet.
the hotline, the WZOB hotline with Chris Durr.
I was going to ask him about hydrangeas last week, and I couldn't think of hydrangea. I was thinking water, something to do with water. I don't know.
Ours aren't blooming yet. Did we kill them?
No, they're actually going to bloom this year. Of course,
They are?
Chris was
Late?
the expert, but no, they're usually June or July.
Oh, okay.
Or
All right.
Hydrangeas?
At least at our house.
There's
anyway.
no way I could have even guessed that. I'm pretty sure it wasn't winter, but other than that, I have
But
no idea.
the late frost and freeze has got them the last few years, but I think they're going to make it this year.
Are you a master gardener?
No, but I
you
played.
study
I
a li-
played one.
You study a little bit on it.
Martha's the master gardener, but I've caught on
Really?
for a while.
Do you do gardening at all?
I
Do you
have a black thumb.
Do you really?
I kill everything. I killed my hydrangeas because I just went out there with the shears and went
to try to trim them up
And Jamie said, I think we might need to YouTube this and see.
after you did it?
After I did it, because that's me. I'm a proud person, and I just want to do what I want to do, and I don't want to look for directions,
Yeah.
But my husband is a humble man, and so he gets on
Jamie's
YouTube.
he's a prep guy.
He-
He's going to study. He's going to measure twice and cut once.
Hey,
no, he's
before-
going to measure 4 times.
Ultimate
and cut
Ultimate football. When we were in the military, the guys for PT were
Yeah.
playing ultimate football. So he goes and buys a book, How to Throw a Football. That is my husband. He wants to know
What was it
the
that he did
technical
in the military? He was he
field
had
artillery officer.
Yeah, but it was his job. I've talked to him before about it. Was like to make sure contingencies. He was all contingency based. Everything was if we do this, then what's going to happen 2 or 3 or 4
And that
steps
fits
down.
his personality.
I mean, and boy, he does. It is constant prep.
I've
He
never heard him
sees-
say 10 words.
It's because he's
he-
thinking all the time.
It's because I say all
That's
the
right.
words.
I
for
wasn't going to
us.
say that, but that is confirmation.
I know. I'm the babbling brook, and he's the Dead Sea,
He-
and that's the way it works. It is.
Well,
He's
man,
pretty
man
comfortable.
wants to hear that nickname. I did see.
All right, hey, I got
Come over
to. We
here.
got to keep setting the show up. I keep getting distracted from setting the show up. Also in studio today, we got Scotty Vaughn, local businessman, and is also running for city council this year. So we'll have him here at the bottom of the hour. So we'll see. Try to roll an hour with him, see if he's got enough content to cover us for an hour, and we'll ask him some
I
questions.
think
Maybe
he's
do
thinking
some-
about leaving right now.
If not, we're
Not sure what he
kicking him
got
off.
into. I texted him this morning. I'd forgotten. I normally remind our guests at least the day before and try to get out ahead. And so I got a text from him this morning saying, what day are we talking about? And I'm like, well, we were hoping today. And first I've heard of it, but I'm good. We're good. So he actually brought us some coffee.
That
Did you
was
get
very
yours?
nice of
You
him.
got
Not
yours?
yet.
Yeah.
Try it. I'm a coffee
I'm gonna
drinker
try it a
now
little
because of
bit.
Gary Brecka, by the way. Haven't drank coffee my entire life.
Is it black, or is
No,
it
it's
got
not.
is it
It's-
got
it's
sugar in
fancy.
it? Is there
It-
anything over there
yes,
that
it's
doesn't
probably
have
unhe-
sugar?
It's probably unhealthy.
Come on, Scotty.
But hey, don't be a Pharisee about it. Just like no, I'm just saying. No, I'm not trying to be critical.
Tell her
Just
that.
incremental steps. Like you can't do all the changes at once.
I'm not. The incremental steps that I'm doing right now
Have you?
are keto,
There you go.
and I have started intermittent fasting, except for this morning, which I knew I needed a little more energy. So I did
I don't
have a
intermittent
coffee.
fast on the day of the show because we talk right through
Yes.
lunch, and I've
okay.
got to have some kind
Thank
of energy.
you for that. I needed that confirmation.
When
But
did
yeah.
protein become political? Real seriously.
No, it's not. It's not the protein.
Well, I mean,
It's
I'm going to.
because
Low carb.
Brecka says it's not. It's you are not. You're not just what you eat. You're what you ate. So
Eight.
yeah,
Eat
what
eight.
like what? Like you're not just eating the
ATE or
cow. You're eating what the cow ate.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's why
that
pork
influences-
is not real good. Like I read
Yeah,
The
their bottom.
grass-fed
years
beef.
ago.
Yeah, grass fed.
Because their digestive system, something about the digestive system.
You start
in
going
the
down that
pig.
rabbit hole, it'll
Yeah,
trap you up because
yeah.
RFK Jr.'s got some. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there on some of the industrialization of food,
Yeah.
and that's
why we all need to be master gardeners
true. You could grow your own
and
stuff.
grow our own food.
Martha's
and,
potatoes or
So this is not. I mean, this is. I'm gonna drink it
tomatoes up.
because it's good.
Yeah.
And I've actually gotten accustomed to coffee, which was crazy because it was miserable. I've
Isn't it
tried
supposed to be
20
good for
times.
you?
Huh?
Isn't coffee supposed to
Well,
be
the
good for you?
caffeine in is. You just don't want all the additives, which
Yeah.
that's okay. Every now and then, like we had our last senior thing at church last night, and had fried chicken fingers and deep fried chicken fingers and.
Did you partake?
And Becky Holdland made a banana pudding.
Oh,
good.
well,
night.
Okay.
I can
That same one that
verify.
she brought up to the press box one night.
Did you ever get any of that?
No, I did not.
Didn't you
I
try
got
to
some of
steal it?
them last
Did you
night,
try
I
to
did.
steal it from Steve? Who tried
Yeah,
to steal
well, I
that
got told
thing?
that it wasn't mine; it was Steve's.
I
And
was
so-
gonna share.
But I think I
Banana
was starting my diet at that point too, and I was like, "That's good for me to just be told no versus having to say no," because I wasn't my no button wasn't strong at that point
Not for banana pudding.
for banana, and it is
Yeah.
good.
You're gonna die anyway.
That's
you might
true.
As well eat some
That's what
banana
Donald Trump
pudding.
says. You know, Donald Trump says he doesn't exercise. You know that?
He does not exercise. He didn't
Do you
sleep
know why?
either.
Do you know why? Have you heard why he said that?
Why? Well, he's always.
He said your body is only meant for a certain amount of steps and a certain amount of lifts and a certain amount of exercises.
And
Why
then you're
waste
gonna
it?
drop dead?
Why waste it on exercising?
Is that right?
It's like a mileage on a car. Like you don't just get out and drive your car around for nothing because you're wasting mileage and you're burning up your engine parts and all that. And
That seems to be.
But everything went well with his physical.
I know.
Eager to play
But I
the
think
press
he's an
release.
anomaly. I think he's a little bit of a freak when it comes to health. He just seems like, what is he, 78?
Is
Something
he
like that. Is he
78?
almost
Might be.
80, isn't he?
Yeah, he's old. Yeah.
And he's
But he's the
he
Energizer
still keeps
Bunny.
going, but I think that's more genetic than it is like how he takes care of himself. Because I'm pretty sure Diet Cokes and McDonald's every day is not the way to go.
Surely that's not what he's eating.
It is.
Is it?
Tell us the story you're talking about with.
When the University of Alabama, after they won a national championship, I guess it was, well, I don't know, maybe in their 2016, I'm not sure. They all run together. And, just kidding. and,
They do.
and one of the players said, "What's that red?" He took him into the Oval Office, and one of the players said, "What's that red button on the desk?" And Donald Trump said, "Push it. Go ahead and push it." And he wouldn't do it because he's afraid he'd start World War
Yeah,
III or something.
nuclear button.
But then finally he pressed that red button, and he didn't know what was going to happen. And about 15 seconds later, a man walked in with a Diet Coke on a platter to give to the president. So anytime he wanted a Diet Coke,
Just
he
presses
pressed
a
this
button.
red button on the
Golly.
desk in the Oval Office.
That's
Well,
funny.
The perks of being the president.
It is. We need that button here. Have Tim bring in something.
We'd get something thrown at us.
Yeah, you would.
So we got to mention our sponsors. Thanks for all you guys that are sponsoring the show. I'll set up the next segment because we'll have Thrive coming in, and then we'll set at the bottom of the hour. But let me just quickly mention we got DeKalb Sportsman in Pawn.
Yep.
You see that? I said it exactly right the first time.
Pawn. Yes, you did. Good
DeKalb
job.
Sportsman in Pawn. Thank you, Brian Jones, for sponsoring the show. We're so glad to have you guys on board. Also, Steve Eberhardt and his guys at First Fidelity Bank.
And
Where
gals.
and gals, excuse me.
Yeah.
And
We're Steve Banks.
We're Steve Banks,
That's
and thank
right.
you guys for sponsoring the show. And then also we'll talk about it in the next segment, Thrive Outdoors. And the
I think
segment,
it's just one outdoor.
Is it?
It is.
Let me see.
I'm fairly certain.
Oh, it is singular
Yeah, because
outdoor.
because they were the upright sponsor a couple of years ago for football. Yeah, and we kept saying outdoors, and Cindy said, "No, it's just one outdoor.
Oh, it's one outdoor.
One outdoor."
Yeah, you better get that in us. And you spend a lot of time. I know this from business ownership on getting your marketing exactly precise. And so there was a discussion, I promise you, over do we singularize outdoor or pluralize outdoor? Is
Now,
that a word?
What were they called originally?
Turf tamers.
Turf
Turf
tamers.
tamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what a great guy Lee Buffington is.
Okay. Well, you want to wait till his segment? No, go ahead.
I may
Yeah,
forget,
we gotta
but
go to
I
commercial
may
pretty
forget
soon.
this.
Go ahead.
He had the these beautiful yellow jackets, waterproof, rainproof, whatever, warm, and they were about $85 a piece probably.
Yeah.
And so when they changed to Thrive Outdoor, they were going to have the logo and all changed on the jackets, but it just wasn't going to work. And there were 75 of them, and he donated all those jackets to Serving Our Savior ministry at our church for us
Wow.
to give out.
There you go.
That's a good guy.
job, Lee
Yeah,
Buffington.
he is a
Yeah.
good guy,
And he's a good guy for sponsoring this show, too.
Yeah, yes.
and he's got
We
2
appreciate
starters
it.
on the football team
He does.
this year.
He-
so there
he's
you
producing
go.
athletes for Fort Payne, and we can
Yeah.
thank him for that. All right, we're going to go to our first commercial break. Thank you guys for listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back with the Thrive Outdoor, what's it called? Say Garden
Tip of the week.
That's amazing. I can't remember that every single time.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is Paul Crawford from The Locals, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB.
When you need to give something special, visit Tracy's in North Fort Payne. Beautiful floral arrangements, fresh or silk, stylish jewelry, scented candles and pampering products, cuddly stuffed animals, balloons, and candy. Tracy can help you put together the perfect gift and gourmet basket. Potted plants or hanging baskets with fresh spring flowers. At Tracy's, you're sure to find that unique gift that shows just how much you care. Tracy's is located at 2103 Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to noon. For every occasion, visit Tracy's full-service florist, personalized printing, and gifts.
Hello, this is Mike Shirey with the Fort Payne Improvement Authority. Spring is an exciting time of warmer weather and new growth, but it's also a dangerous time. We all remember the tragic storms of April 2011 and lives lost and the scars that remain. We're reminded of the season and how the storms can impact our lives. We would like to take this opportunity to encourage everyone to stay safe and have a safety plan when the storms come. Always remember to stay away from any downed power lines or anything contacting those lines. Never try to move a power line and do not drive over a downed power line. If your vehicle is in contact with a power line, stay in the vehicle until help arrives. Stay alert and stay safe from your friends at Fort Payne Improvement Authority.
All right, we're back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Bryan Northcutt and Steve Chambers in studio for episode 10. Glad that you guys could join us either live or, as Steve says, everybody who watches it after 9 o'clock in the evening, which apparently is a whole bunch of people.
We should do our show from 10 to 12
That's
in the evening for the insomniacs.
Hey, I'll take it. If you're listening or watching the show, thank you very much. We're very thankful for you guys. And I think we're kind of gaining a little bit of steam here. It feels like we are. But
Might just be the humidity.
It could be, or we could be completely delusional, which is also a possibility.
I'm more comfortable being delusional.
That's true. Hey, why worry about it? If you think you're great, then keep going, rocking on. Speaking of sponsors, we're thankful for Lee Buffington and Thrive Outdoor, singular, and their sponsorship of the show, and they sponsor the Garden Tip of the Week. Figured it out finally,
Good
Steve.
job.
I got that one that time. The Thrive Outdoor Garden Tip of the Week on the WZOB hotline, which I can't do both. I can't do both graphics at the same time. I got the WZOB hotline with Chris Dura, but then I got to go back to the logo. So we're going to keep the logo up. So I just wasted energy making that other one.
We should have a logo for Chris.
You know what? I could do it on here. I'll just have to expand it out, put it on here. So Chris Dura is on the hotline with us right now. Chris, how you been, brother?
Man, I've been doing great. How is the delusional people today?
Very delusional. Wasn't that that was one of our brain rot words, was delulu. Remember that a couple weeks ago? Delulu. That's the kids' way of saying that you're delusional, is you're delulu. So yeah, we are doing fantastic because we don't know any better, Chris.
Awesome. Working with you guys, I know you can have a touch of that delusional in all three of you.
Hey, Holly says not her. Not her. Holly's in a great mood because she didn't have any technical difficulties before we went on there.
Chris must have a job lined up for next year.
There he is.
So how are things over at Thrive Outdoor, brother?
Thrive Outdoor is going great. I want to touch on a few things after listening to your opening segment.
Okay.
First, I want to touch on the coffee.
Yes.
I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm like Bryan. I never liked coffee. Just recently got a little bit of it with my wife, but I like flavor and a little bit of coffee.
Yes.
Not coffee and a little bit of flavor.
Yeah, it's preferable that way, but I'm trying to get the health benefits of it.
And just a hint for that, Keurigs, the little pod coffees, Black Rifle makes a caramel latte that's out of this world.
Ooh, I'll make a note of that.
It's really good.
Is that mold free?
2, that's right. Yeah, 2. You guys were talking about what you eat. Being careful of what you eat and what they eat.
Yes.
How in the world do we eat pork?
I know.
You ever seen one?
I put it on a fork
pig
first.
slumps?
Steve says he works through it. He can still make it happen.
Steve likes it smoked and barbecued, don't he?
Yeah.
It is definitely good, but it's not.
It was good enough in the Old Testament. It's good enough for me. Thank you, Holly.
I know. You're right. You're right.
And then my last note from last segment, I almost dropped my phone and fell down when Holly talked about shearing the hydrangeas. Oh, my Lord, have mercy in heaven.
Could that be a problem?
Yes.
Hey, this is a family show. We don't need to be talking about that on this show.
Yes. I'll make a point to bring that up next week. Proper pruning techniques.
I'm glad
from
that you
Holly.
did. I'm glad that out of the 3 things that you mentioned, it wasn't the one that I was hoping that we were. Holly brought that one to the show. That's on her. So she can't feed me lines like that right before the show starts.
That's right. So next week is gardening tips for Holly.
Yeah. All right. So what you got for us?
That'll be 2 segments.
All right. What I got for us this week, it's early, it's late spring, about to be early summer. It's fertilizing. You got to fertilize to help these things grow, your plants and your turf or your grass.
Okay. And what do you recommend for that?
Well, with your grass and your turf early in the spring, about this time, you want to get that grass growing up, and you want it growing green. So you want to hit it with a high nitrogen fertilizer. And that's when you have those 3 numbers, you see those 3 numbers on the packages. The first number is nitrogen. So you want something like a 2405 or a, sometimes straight nitrate like a 3200. All that. If you do that, you better water the fire out of it or burn up your grass.
Okay.
But you want that high nitrogen fertilizer on your turf to get it growing up and to get it growing green starting off the summer.
All right. Got it.
And then for your shrubs, you definitely, not a lot of people do this nowadays, but I say nowadays, if you really want your shrubs to say disease-free, insect, repellent, and looking good, you want to hit it with just a general fertilizer. Nurseries do this all the time, like a 1010 or a 1313 or a 1414. That's the same number across the board in low, like a 131313, 101010. Any of that is good for shrubs in their growth and disease resistance as well.
Is that like liquid 7 dust? You can get that in different. Different.
Now, what you want to do when you do your plants, you want to take about a palm full. Yeah, I said that. Do. Make sure you line that up with all the other stuff I say.
Well, I was going to say fertilizer, and that's the first thing that comes to mind.
You can buy that at Lowe's.
And it does. I remember me and my dad would go to farms and collect the cow doo-doo to put in the garden.
Oh, gosh. That's fantastic.
And any farm will tell you that. That's good. But you want to sprinkle that fertilizer, this plant fertilizer, around the drip line of the plant, not up against the roots.
Explain what that is.
Okay, when you look at a tree or a plant and it extends out, well, let's say a shrub and extends out about 2 to 4 feet, depending on how wide your shrub is. That's where the water, if it just went over the top of it, would just fall around the outside because that's where the roots are, the end of the roots, the tender part of the roots. If you throw it up against the trunk, you'll cause your roots to grow back in. They'll grow in they'll grow in a circle, and they likely die that way. You want those roots spreading out as best they can, so throw the fertilizer around the drip line of your plants.
Well, good. And then always call Thrive Outdoor for all of your lawn care needs and hardscapes, landscapes, all that kind of stuff. Right?
That's correct. Yeah, nightscapes, all that fun stuff. Yes, we do. We do all that fun jazz.
There you go. So, have you enjoyed post radio life for this year? Are you enjoying kind of
all 2 weeks of it?
All 2 weeks of the first of not having. Hey, Gardendale made it to the semis. They played today. Actually,
They did make.
They're
They
at
did make it to the
Hartselle, I think.
semis. I think I let you and Holly know. Looking at that, we're the only team that has scored on Gardendale so far in the playoffs.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, they have blanked. They have blanked Minor and they blanked Mountain Brook. Swept both of those teams. We went 3 with them, but we did score 3 runs on them over 2 games.
Yeah.
And they're at Hartselle now.
Yeah, they go to Hartselle.
Yeah, they're at Hartselle, and that's a traditional baseball powerhouse right there.
They are a long, storied history of baseball championships over there. So, well, good, brother. You got anything else? Any other news you want to plug real quick before we let you go?
No, that's it. Just if you got any commercial landscaping needs like they talked about, call Thrive Outdoor. We'll be happy to service you.
Absolutely. Well, Chris on the WZOB hotline, Chris Dura with Thrive Outdoor, sponsors of the show. Thank you, guys. And Chris, I hope you have a good weekend, brother.
All right, you too, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. See you, bro.
See ya.
Bye. All right, that was Chris Dura on the Thrive Outdoor hotline, WZOB hotline, talking about the garden tip of the week. I wrote it down, 2405 for your lawn, or 2400, and then you got 10-10-10 with the nitrogen content. So that's your quiz. We got to have a quiz on
I
that.
think 7 Dust is 13-13-13, but he blew me off on that question.
Oh, he's got a degree, so you got to respect the degree.
I gotta respect the degree.
I-
That's why I was asking it.
We're gonna have to. I gotta have something. I gotta write it down to stay engaged on the garden tip of the week. Because you start rolling numbers out like that, you can ask my wife. Man, that email gets too long. I'm just out to lunch, and I gotta write it down, or
Yeah.
I'll float off into Never
Are we
Land.
talking ADHD here?
Maybe a touch. My wife seems to think so, but
I think it's the screen time. It's made us all we don't have the attention span as we used to because we doom scroll.
yeah.
What'd you say?
The screen
No, I'm
time.
just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Holly.
Got you. So anyway, we're glad that all you guys joined us. Thanks for Chris Dura with Thrive Outdoor. I think it's time for a break, isn't it, Miss Holly?
I was about to bring on the music.
Let's
yeah.
take on another break, and then we'll come back. We'll have Scotty Vaughn in studio right after this with Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
DeKalb Fix-It Appliance Warehouse is a mouthful, so Terry and Bobby have decided to drop the fix-it and focus on giving you the best prices on new appliances. Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, Amana, LG, Samsung, GE, and more. Up to 75% off retail price on new scratched and dent appliances. And as your Electrolux and Frigidaire dealer, DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is passing on more savings to you with even more new in-box selections. Need a refrigerator? Come in today and shop our overstocked warehouse. You will not get a better deal anywhere. We guarantee to match or beat any price. In-house service available to all as well. Used appliances will now be available at our previous location on Godfrey Avenue, along with the same computer sales and repairs our customers have come to enjoy. DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is open weekdays 9 to 5, Wednesdays and Saturdays 9 to 2, located on Airport Road in Fort Payne.
This is Robbie Coker with McNeese State Basketball, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB. Go Pokes.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
All right, we're back. Brian Northcutt, Steve Chambers in studio. You're listening on WZOB to Lunch with Brian and Steve. Thankful for you guys joining us. Just got through talking with Chris Dura on the Thrive Outdoor hotline about the garden tip of the week and getting all your things. And then we've got a guy in studio now who's got a little bit of a green thumb as well. And now speak of Scotty Vaughn. Scotty Vaughn is a local businessman, builder, been around Fort Payne your whole life, I guess, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Welcome to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
I've born and raised in Fort Payne, and just been here my entire life, working and building houses and doing construction as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had Spanish class with Scotty.
You had what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spanish.
What
Is that
year
right?
did you graduate?
95.
95.
Yeah, I was right behind Holly.
Oh, you're just a baby.
It's all relative, Steve. It's all relative.
I'm 95 years old.
So, for our listeners and viewers and people who are new to the show that are not as familiar with who Scotty Vaughn is, you kind of talked about it just then, but just tell us about your life, how you got to where you are, and I'll rope you in if I need to. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Well,
I'll get you back out.
my dad had a construction business back early on. We started out laying block and brick on the Holiday Inn that's now the Waffle House.
Okay.
Back in the 70s. Before I was around, and then
I remember.
That was Steve.
But he kind of came back around, started working around locally, and then my brother and I worked with him in summers and weekends and after ball practice and all that stuff. So it's just always been in the construction business. I went to college at Northeast for a few years till I started asking how much a draftsman was going to make, and I put two and two together, and I was already doing better than I would starting out as a draftsman. So I just went to construction full time, and I think 2007 we incorporated and started transitioning from masonry work into building houses, and now that's basically what we do. We contract them from the ground up. We do extensive remodels, all of it.
Okay.
You name it. Over the past few years, past 20 years, I've pretty much seen it and can get it done.
Yeah.
So
well, cool. And now we're throwing our hat into the political ring. And so you're going to run for city council. I've seen a lot of posts and a lot of things going on about that. So tell us about that decision. What played into that?
Well, it's just one of those things. I really love our town, our city. We've all grown up here. We know everybody. I ride through town and just know a lot of people, and I feel like we're in a situation where we could thrive. We could do better. We're headed in the right direction, but I think we could do some things a little differently and really get us going. You look around some of the surrounding cities like Albertville and some places like that, they seem to have a few more things happening. I'm not saying we can be Albertville. Don't want to be Albertville. I want to be Fort Payne. I want to be the best version of Fort Payne.
Yeah.
I think that the building industry, we're constantly dealing with someone else's money. And if I manage that poorly, I don't get paid.
Right.
Possibly get fired.
Yeah.
I'm constantly putting people in the right positions to do the right jobs. That's an everyday thing to me, and I feel like I bring a skill set to the city council that I think's needed.
Okay.
Because we're negotiating, we own some property, and we've got 300 something employees. We've got a $25 million a year budget. It's a lot of management things that a council, if you get right down to it, is a lot of oversight. That's mainly what we do. We don't run day to day. That's the mayor's job.
Yeah.
But we need to understand what they need. So that's kind of part of my campaign, is going around to businesses and seeing what they need, and all the departments. I'm going to visit all those before it's all said and done, and just making sure that we're all talking to one another.
Are you supposed to file the papers by June 1st, or is it go on? See, I know the election is in August, the primary. So is there a deadline June 1st, or does it go beyond?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure on the qualification deadlines. I just know that I can qualify. And whenever that comes,
you're in. You told them.
Okay. Yeah. So you got to live in the city limits for I think at least 6 or 9 months, and I think it's a $50 fee, and you fill out a form at the courthouse. I mean at City Hall.
City Hall. Yeah.
And it's not too big of a deal. It's not like your county and state offices where you've got a big qualifying fee and you've got a primary to run. There's no primary. It's nonpartisan election. It'll be all 5 of us at large, vote for the top 5 that you want. So I know for sure that the election's August 26th. I do believe that's the correct date.
And that would be like, I know, depending on how many you're running, you got the top 10 if they do it as past previous elections, and then it'd be the runoff 6 weeks after that.
Yes, sir. There is some numbers there, and I'm pretty positive if you get 51% of the vote, you don't have to participate in the runoff. You're automatically in.
Okay.
And then they narrow it down to a smaller field, and then you do have a runoff. So
what are you, 1 or 2 or 3 kind of ideas? I'm sure you've brainstormed, like, here's something that I think we're not doing that I think we could do. What are some of those things that come to mind as far as adjustments or things that you think could move us forward as a city?
I think communication, how we talk to one another, the pace at which we talk to one another, because these department heads and city employees are out there every day doing their job. We got to make sure we're in front of them doing what they need, making sure they just have what they need to do their job, and make sure we're doing it efficiently.
Yeah.
I think that's really huge for me. Being able to go to Bruce's or go to wherever in town and see the people that that you actually represent, and they know that you're standing up for their best interest. And can give them informed answers whenever they need it. Social media, I think we can do a better job communicating a lot of things on social media, because that seems to be where everybody's trended to these days.
Do we know how many people so far that have said I'm running? Because we got of the 5, 3 running. Is that right? 2, 3. Still know about Lynn?
I don't know.
Do we
Johnny and Philip.
Come on now, y'all jump in.
Johnny and Philip are not going to run.
Yeah, I know
John
Philip.
Smith will run.
Yeah.
And
yeah, John.
Walter.
Yeah.
Walter's
running.
going to run.
And Lynn, has
I
she
think
declared?
Lynn's on the fence.
Okay.
Because, they've had some
Personal
family issues that have gone along, and I really don't know if she's going to run or not. But,
and according to a sign in the yard, we got another mayor candidate too, a mayoral candidate, Pete Davis.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. So I had a question.
I've had a lot of people say they think they're going to, but
other people than this.
Yeah, but
because you got Clint Beeson's put his name out there the other day.
Yeah.
Somebody, Bo Genlin. Is there anybody else? Do you know of anybody else? Is that it? You hearing any rumblings?
I'm hearing
rumblings. Jeff Young posted something on Facebook.
Okay.
I think. I don't know if that makes it official or not. But
the ones I've talked to,
Holly, are you running?
So I'm not going to say.
Lord, no.
You don't want to do that?
No.
You'd be great at a debate.
No, and I only debate theology. That's my lane. I'll stay in
We're
it.
in Alabama. That can happen.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, so tell us a little bit about some of your other things. You've got Ashley, your wife. Y'all got kids. Do you have kids? No, you don't have kids. All right. So what are you involved in? What are the things you got going on?
Well, I guess we're self-diagnosed workaholics. If you want
Are you
the
really?
truth.
I've been accused of
we just
that.
do it. You know what I mean? If our customers need something, both of us are that way, and we bend over backwards for them. But Ashley has South State Realty. She's actually out of Rainsville, but she sells all over the county and everywhere. So she does a good job on real estate, and that's kind of our niche. We also buy and flip houses.
Okay.
We've moved. We've been married 16 years.
Ooh, I'm in the middle of it right now. Now.
We've moved 15 times, I think.
Flipping.
So we're it's
fun, isn't it?
We're moving right now, like literally right now. There's people at our house boxing stuff up. So, and
nice.
don't really have it because our Airbnbs are booking up. So
you got no place
the
to
North
go.
Coast are homeless after about 2 days.
Well, I thought
I saw you under the bridge
tell Claire
yesterday.
we have a bedroom upstairs that's got
she's
a
mentioned
queen
that
size
offer.
bed.
We're trying
for
to
any of the North Cuts.
calm
if
all
they
the kids
need to.
down. And
Are
say,
you
guys,
building?
we will be building at some point, but.
Well, have you talked to Scotty?
Let's draw this up right here. So yeah, we're in the middle of that. I've seen at least one. You lived close to us at one point and flipped that house. And then
we actually live on Alabama Avenue right there, 2 stints. That's probably the longest we lived was on the corner right there. But yeah, it's just something we do.
It's an easy way to it's tax-free money every 2 years.
Yep.
You just got to put up with the move.
Golly.
Yeah, that's
I
what
wouldn't do
people
that to
ask me all the
anything.
time. How do
I
you
don't
move so
know.
much? But once you get the system down pat, and I don't know, it's just another thing.
Well, it's an equity grab when you can see it and you go, man, I could just pull that equity out and go slide it somewhere else and turn it into some more. They're asking, had a lot of people, because we're going to build a house and it's going to be kind of not our dream home, because I don't know that we even have a dream home, but it's a nice home that Claire built 20 years ago when she was in Auburn, when we were in Auburn, and beautiful house and all the bells and whistles that we wanted to have. And they're like, were you going to stay there? I said, well, I'd like to say yes, but my
But-
history says no.
Yeah.
We won't stay there.
So that's where we're at. We're to a point where we're tired of moving.
yeah.
You know, we don't have to live in an investment anymore. We're very blessed that we've done it enough times that we can actually have a true investment property. And now we're trying to build our own house. And she sees so many, and I see so many. It's just hard to
turn it
Narrow
off.
it
hard to figure out what we want. And then actually, believe it or not, we have a budget too. You know, I can only do things so cheap. You know, it gets to a point where
Believe me, I know.
it'll never get finished. You know.
Bathroom remodel. Do we have pictures?
Yeah, you got your. Have you brought pictures in?
Martha vetoed that.
Oh, did you?
Aw.
I guess she thought I was gonna. I don't know what I thought.
You see what he's doing here? He's like, oh, I'm talking about Martha. I got to watch every word now. The filter.
You won't be in the shower, I promise. Anyway,
So no pictures, huh?
no lunch today either.
So y'all are trying to find where. So you're moving now, or you're looking at your
we
dream home?
just moved. October of last year.
How long y'all been married?
16 years.
And you've moved 15 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's more than the tax benefit. Do you still get the?
Oh yeah.
You still worked out the tax thing?
Well, not really. No.
Okay.
Sometimes it's
just
cost of
bite
doing
the bullet.
business. You know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Keeps you from becoming a pack rat.
Well,
Moving around.
Well, not necessarily.
Seriously?
Now, my wife will throw anything away if it sits on the counter for more than 5 minutes. So,
yeah.
you
So
know,
she's
that's
not
a
a
running
pack-
joke in
So
our
that's not a
house.
problem.
You know,
Yeah.
she's going to throw it away.
Don't put your stuff.
But
in there.
but by default, you know, Ashley had a clothing business too there in town for several
that's
years.
right. I
till
forgot about
she
that.
got tired of working 24 hours a day. and
What was her
can't
clothing business that she
It was
had?
Ash Clothing.
Okay.
It was down near Westmoreland.
Okay.
Right across the street.
Yep, it was down there, and she
I
done
remember
really
that.
good with it. It was a really beautiful building and stuff, and she just got to a point where, you know, she wanted to focus on real estate, and that's what she did. So
Yeah.
So we moved out of there, moved houses, and bought my house I grew up in. So we had stuff everywhere. You know, we finally have gotten through that. So it's been really fun journey for me and her to just, you know, she might come home tomorrow and say, "Hey, I got the house sold," and I'm like, "Okay, where are we going?" You know.
Well, that's one thing I've learned about realtors. They will try to sell any house. Like they're not beholden to contracts, or I
Even if
don't
you've
think
got
these
your
people
house
are
on the
interested.
market?
Yeah, I mean, I've got plenty of realtors that will come to us and go, "Hey, you want to sell that house?" And just out of nowhere, all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, well, maybe."
Well,
For
I
the
mean, it's kind of
right
like you guys selling
price.
ads, right?
That's right.
I mean,
Everything's
it's,
for sale.
You know,
That's
everything's
Hey,
on
if
the
you
market.
want to put a coffee logo on this coffee cup and have it sitting right here on this desk,
There you go.
you can do that. And advertise with
What
Lunch with
about
Bryan and
those
Steve.
cards you get in the mail usually from Chattanooga? Say,
Yeah,
we'll
we buy-
offer
yeah.
$250,000 for your house.
Yeah, what I don't know. I've never investigated.
And they got a
those.
picture of the house.
Oh, I know. They got a
being
picture of your house on it.
stalked.
Send it to you, and then say we'll buy it for. Yeah,
If I move again, it's because Martha kicked me out. So.
you do see that quite a bit, but it's we've and I don't say we've enjoyed it, but it does keep us from hoarding too much stuff. We end up giving a bunch of stuff away and throwing a bunch of stuff away, and I try to do it.
Yeah, one of the neat things that I get to do is like if you've been living in your home for 10 or 15 years and you're used to it how it is, and you've got this idea you want to do something different, I see it differently.
Yeah,
I don't have to. I'm not coming in and out of that door 2 times a day for 30 years, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. You live in, and I tell customers all the time, I'm like, you got to really stop and think. It's not going to be like it is now. We're changing it. We're flipping it around. We're moving the kitchen over here or whatever. You know, it's pretty neat to see those transformations. And they can see through the walls and kind of envision something different than what's there now.
yeah.
You know?
All right, well, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with more with Scotty Vaughn here on Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
With summer just around the corner, It's time to schedule your pool opening with Rawson Pools. With 30 years of experience installing, repairing, and maintaining pools, Rawson Pools is your best choice to keep that backyard getaway the envy of the neighborhood. And for all you who enjoy servicing your own pool, Rawson Pool has a supply store stocked with the highest quality products and materials to keep your pool ready for those hot summer days. Rawson Pool and Supply Store is located in Rainsville on Main Street next to Toke Restaurant. Rawson Pool and Supply Store, the pool professionals.
Hey, it's Chris Stewart, the voice of the Crimson Tide, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB Radio. Roll Tide.
Do you need to declutter? Wish you could free up some valuable space at work or home? Hillier Mini Storage has climate control units available, and all their units are gated for maximum protection. You can also store your stuff at home with their Four Seasons or Max Steel storage buildings for sale. Just come by Hillier Mini Storage on Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And while you're there, be sure to check out play sets for the kids. Store your stuff with Hillier Mini Storage.
All right, it's 15 minutes at the top of the hour. I'm so sorry, Holly. Was that too loud?
Sorry.
Blew her headphones off. Sorry about that. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Bryan Northcutt, Steve Chambers. Stevie's Wonders. By the way, I've still got the trophy over here in the corner for Stevie's Wonders from 2 weeks ago at the youth adult volunteer.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears winning that trophy. So
that's Steve's new nickname is Stevie's Wonders.
I thank God.
Which is what Martha calls him too.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I wonder why
speaking of sperm rings.
Stevie. Bryan Northcutt.
The first time I asked her out, she said, "I'll just meet you down there." It's the old
she wouldn't let you come
Chinese
pick her
restaurant.
up.
She didn't want me to come pick her up. I said, I'm blessed to have all the friends I want. I'm going to come pick you up. And she said, okay. Bless her heart.
Oh, bless her heart. This segment is sponsored by DeKalb Sportsman and Pawn. Go visit Brian Jones on the north end of town. We'd love for you guys to go check them out. I always like to show Steve's buck that he killed.
We need some more pictures.
Yes, we do.
Of people killing. Hey, Scotty, are you a hunter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I sent you my gun cabinet.
Oh, that's right. Well, did you not put it? Did you get that at the Sportsman and
Almost all
Pawn?
of those were at the cabinet. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that
I don't think I got that on the group. Is that
you
on
just
our group
sent it
text?
to me?
I think I sent it on the combined.
When's the last time you killed a deer, Scotty?
Oh,
or do you
Lord.
deer hunt?
Oh, I deer hunt. My wife says I just go over there and sit in the stand and don't do nothing because I haven't killed one in so long. So.
It's so quiet and peaceful.
It is. It's very nice. A lot of sleeping, a lot of hanging out.
That's one of the things I never picked up growing up, and it's amazing that I grew up here and never got into hunting. But I've heard several. I could imagine going into the woods with no sounds, no cell signal, no nothing would be. That sounds great to me.
We got the Wilsons have up on the ridge between Collinsville and Lebanon.
Yeah,
and you can see the lights at Collinsville and Highway 11, but you can't hardly hear anything. You can hear the interstate a little bit. But you're way up there, and it's just so quiet and peaceful. And they say deer don't look up because they have no natural enemies.
Yeah.
And but there's always one will come up and say, "Are you up in the tree stand today?" Well, actually, we have shooting houses for old people, like me.
Yeah.
But they do look up sometimes. But.
So when's the last deer you killed?
Oh goodness, it's been 5 or 6 years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But you still get out there and
I go. We plant food plots. We got a group of us in a hunt club, and it's just fun. I mean, it's more. When I was younger, it was all about.
It's about the breakfast,
killing the deer and doing the things.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Really trying to kill a big one and antlers and all. It ain't about that anymore for me. It's about getting out, hanging out with a group of guys. And we'll get out there and bush hog the fields and plant them and do all the stuff.
Spend a bunch of money and then not harvest anything.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the crows eat all the corn.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. So the bears factor into that now out there.
Oh, yeah. We've been getting a lot of bears.
Isn't it amazing how deer run through the forest and not make a sound? And then if 3 or 4 turkey come through, it sounds like Patton's Third Army coming through there.
Yep. And squirrels are very loud in the woods.
Yeah.
It's really
And
quiet.
they like to get up in your business when you're up there.
What other outdoor stuff do you do?
I like to fish. I like saltwater fish. It's fun. I got a center console boat. We crappie fish, bass fish. Been doing that stuff since I was a little kid. So, it's always.
So that's your playtime? That's your.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being on the water's fun. Me and Ashley, we like to go to the river.
I was going to ask if Ashley, does she hunt? Is
No.
she's not a hunter.
No,
Is
she's
she?
a girly girl. She don't like outside.
Oh, okay. She don't fish?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
You can get her a pink.
No, we can't do everything together. Now we work together a lot,
So Ashley, you can just turn the radio off right now.
No, she's good.
I just sent you a picture
does
of that
love you.
cabinet with all those guns.
You know what? I think I did get that. I'll put it back up
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Sorry. Resend that again to the group.
I
so
did.
I
did. It's the first
I'll
one.
get it in there. We've been packing boxes and trying to move.
So I got a video from the other day. I was turkey hunting, and there's bears all over that place out at Oak Hill. And I was driving by to check.
In Fisher.
I was trying to check a food plot and was trying to listen for some turkeys gobbling, and I noticed that there's a pine tree about 8 inches around, about 8 foot tall. You can see where it bit it. It's 7 or 8 foot tall. It was bite marks on the tree where they kind of marked their territory.
Wow.
So they trash all our deer cameras out there. If you put them 3 or 4 foot off the ground,
And you probably
they'll
got
bust them.
if you're turkey hunting, you probably got a shotgun.
Yeah.
And that probably wouldn't help a lot with a bear.
Is there not some danger in that? I mean,
I've never seen one. Not one time. They've had bears on camera out there
Like,
4 or 5 years.
I mean, they can. About any size
But
bear
black,
could kill you. Couldn't
yeah,
it?
but a black bear, they're not real aggressive, are they?
I mean, I've never seen one.
Supposedly they're
live
afraid
in
of you
person.
too, but I don't know.
I bet
I'd
you're
get
not
the
as-
one that's mean.
We had a bear person, that worked at the park come out to Lions Club and talk about it a few years ago, and she.
I mean, I know everybody's saying just chill out, it's all good, but
Yeah.
you
Don't
just say
run.
You just say bear, and I'm like,
I just don't want them rummaging through my trash, you know.
Drive down County Road 89 on the mountain,
Yeah,
past the park to Mentone on Tuesday mornings.
and you'll see them.
Oh, you'll see the piles of trash
Oh,
where they've been.
where
That's,
they've been.
that's where they meet
Really
on Tuesday
bad.
morning.
Yeah, they know it's
they got a
coming.
Kiwanis meeting down there. It's
They wear
not the
little
Lions
vests
Club,
and
it's the Bear
everything,
Club.
It's amazing.
So what do you and Ashley, when y'all are not doing business together or working on the next deal, what do y'all go do to hang out?
Oh, right now we go to our property on Dean Road and just hang out. Just hang out, plant flowers.
Is that where you're gonna build your house, your next house?
One day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One day.
One of these days.
We can't figure out what we want. We've got a real modern house plan drawn up, but we just can't quite figure
Isn't
it
that
out
funny?
yet.
It's hard when you get locked in and start dicing things this way and that way. You can start getting into some arguments. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I mean, it ain't really that. I don't really, it's just one of those things. We both want something really neat that everybody else doesn't have because, we can do that.
Yeah.
And, we make decisions every day for other people all the time. That's just common, but when it comes down to us and figuring out exactly what we want, we just hadn't got there yet.
Yeah.
Once we get there, it'll be game over. We're doing it. We're moving on, and we're a little bit closer to that right now.
I've noticed in our, we've got a kind of a unique land or lot that we're getting has a hill on one side and it's right up against another lot line. And so you have to get creative with how you're going to move the dirt. And so let's do this. Well, what if you shove it up this direction? What if you move this? What if you flip it? And it's really hard to let your brain
see it.
Yeah, or release a locked in image. It's got to be here. And then if you can go, okay, but what if you take all those restrictions off? How would you do it? And it's fun, but it can be I'm not nerve-wracking. It's a challenge. It's hard sometimes when you start getting locked in on a certain way to see things, like you're talking about with the homeowners. When you see it the same way every day, it's hard to open your mind up and allow that to loosen up to think all kinds of different.
If it's near a lake, someone asked me if you're building on a lake. I said, I don't know.
I don't think so. No,
you don't think so?
We're staying in the same neighborhood, at least once we build. But right now it's
right now
we got to find a place to live like Friday because the units are booking up and it's becoming a challenge, which is a great problem.
I'm sure your parents will step up.
Oh yeah, Mom and Dad would love to have 7 people in their house. That'd be fantastic.
Church has a
they
large
live in a
basement.
1-bedroom? Haven't they downsized already? Right?
We could stay in the upstairs in my office.
That's right.
That's a 3-1.
There you go.
You just shove everybody in a corner. Nobody uses that space. I guess we're on there. Never mind. Sky, forget that. Jeff, sorry. We're not staying at the church. Shirley, don't worry about it.
Oh my goodness.
Can you see eye rolls on the camera?
Friday, you guys, I tell you what, fly by the seat of your pants.
It
North
is.
Cuts.
Yeah, the kids are not excited about this one.
No.
They've been excited about the other ones. This is a challenge.
Yeah.
And Sydney's about to be a senior, so she wants to go. But we do have a plan that we're going to have a guest house that's kind of like an ensuite that's off the main. It's got a screened-in porch access, so it'll be kind of disconnected from the rest of the house.
So that's where the children are going to be.
That's where all your boys
You can
are.
lock it. It's got deadbolts on the outside
and a moat around it.
But Sydney's excited about that because she'll have her own little space over there and she can be detached from everybody else. Now we just got to get there, so that'll be the fun part of that.
So back to
that's right. Yeah, Scotty Vaughn here with us.
Run it.
My self-indulgence is over.
Well, I think he'll build you a house now. Do you have thoughts on? Well, I'm sure you do, or you wouldn't be running. Mm-hmm. I know there's some things you'd like to change, and I know we got a lot of good people that recruit industry and retain industry, and of course, there's things around here that a lot of cities have that we at the present don't have, like a theater or bowling alley.
Man,
look, I like popcorn.
You keep on the
and I
movie
like watching
thing.
a movie.
He has asked every council member and the mayor about a movie.
I'm really old, and that's my entertainment. Let's go eat and go watch.
There ain't nothing worth watching anymore.
Well,
that is the truth.
These slasher films and all this crap.
Yeah, we don't do that. 'Cause I can't sleep after it.
Actually, they're doing a what is that? How to Train Your Dragon. Have you seen that?
I've seen
the live action? That looks
Yes.
like it's going to be good if they don't woke it up.
They will woke it up, I'm sure.
Surely not.
They're woking
Such
everything.
a great movie.
I know,
great
it is a good movie.
music. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Well, the live and then they're going to have it on IMAX in some places.
That'll be good.
Yeah, where you're
We're
flying.
definitely not getting.
I like. I tell you what I like. I'll get back to this in a
I'm
second.
sorry, my bad.
Paramount Plus with Landman and Tulsa King. Those are two shows I love.
They good? Okay.
Yeah, great.
David is on. Is it on Paramount or no? It's on Amazon. Have you watched the David yet, Holly? Have you watched the David?
I watched some of it. Yeah,
The Kingdom. Is it called the David? It's about David.
It's about David. Yeah.
Yeah, I started to watch it a little bit. It hadn't like grabbed me.
It's pretty
But it
good.
hadn't put me off too much either.
It's
I
good.
get
think
put off by a lot of.
I know you do. Yeah, you're going to study.
I'm so.
So
Does
I'm
ever
so
get
judgmental.
All right,
you see how desperate we are for a theater. do you have thoughts on this before you just get up and walk out?
Well, it's kind of a slippery slope when city government gets involved with private business, in my opinion. We got to be very careful.
I was
going to
ask you about that.
You know, I don't like it, just to be honest with you, because I'm not going to go ask the city to help Vaughn Construction out, nor should they. But at the same time, if somebody has a good idea and it would help the public, if there's a way we could incentivize that, I would be for that under the right situations. But cash payments up front, that's too much for us to bear because we only have X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And if we pass a budget and then we spend more than our budget, that money has to come from somewhere. It's not going to just fall out of the sky. So we have to be very careful in how we do that. And I'm not trying to talk bad about any decisions that have been made in the past because that's the past and I wasn't there and I didn't have all the information and I don't want to armchair quarterback any prior decisions. Just me moving forward from a business owner standpoint, it's got to make dollars and cents. It's got to make, it's got a plus and minus out.
So some people would say, and I've heard really those two sides of that coin is, does the city council have a responsibility to either create an environment that's inviting towards small business or big business for that matter, or do they actively pursue that and recruit with dollars? And so I've seen both of or heard both sides of that same argument. So you would lean more towards create a good environment, create a space where it's welcoming to companies to come here or to open up shop, or small business owners or potential small business owners to open a business. But I'm not gonna pursue you with dollars.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think there's room to do all the above.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of guy that wants to put the foot on the gas and let's get it done, let's move on. And I know that's going to be one of my problems being on the council, because I'm a private business owner. The more I do, the more I make. Yeah. Period. End of the day. You know, the more houses I can build in a year, still do a quality job, and, you know, and turn them out and get those referrals and stuff, the more money my business can make. So that's my thought process going into it. I know that's going to be a problem, but to your comments about, do we pursue with some dollars? Probably so. We're probably going to do all of the above if we have it to do it with. Yeah, that's the first thing. That's the first priority we got to do, is understand where we're at as far as the budget goes and financing and stuff like that. I'm trying to educate myself to the best of my ability before I ever even get in office. Yeah. If I don't get elected, that's okay. I'm just smarter than I was. You know, I know more about our city than I did a few months ago. So if somebody came to me and had a good deal on a theater or something like that, and we could tax abate it for a year or so or something to help incentivize them to get it going or whatever, I would probably be for that. But you can't look at it singularly, in my opinion. You have to look at it as a whole, you know, and I think that's the difference between some of your biggest corporations and your smaller businesses, is that the small business, we don't have the capabilities, the attorneys, the this, the that, whatever it takes to get these packages together to do these investments where you can pay a developer. I think it's a 772.
Yeah. Even if you had the money to bring in a theater and the people coming in, even if you had the money yourself, they would probably still want to know that the community's behind it.
Yeah. Let's talk about that after the break. We're going to go to the top of the hour break. We're glad you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back after this.
Don't let the door hit you. More and more people are saying goodbye to pests with Safe Solutions Plus LLC. And it's no wonder, with their top-notch customer service, quality products, and lower prices. And now, with their new website, it's never been easier to manage your pest control service with Safe Solutions Plus. Just visit sspestandtermite.com to view your billing details, make payments online, and review past services. Family-owned and operated, Safe Solutions Plus is located at 934 Main Street West in Rainsville. Call 256-638-7378. Safe Solutions Plus, protecting homes and businesses one solution at a time.
Okay then, bye.
My Supply is my hometown hardware store. At My Supply, I never have to wander aimlessly around the store looking for what I need. I know that when I walk through the door, I'm going to be greeted by a person and helped right away. So whether you're looking for plumbing, electrical, hand or power tools, welding supplies, standard or metric fasteners, or anything else to help with your home projects and repairs, shop My Supply on Godfrey Avenue in Northeast Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. My Supply, your hometown hardware store.
This is Chris Sturra, the voice of the Fort Payne Wildcats. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. I'd love to join them, but some of us have real jobs to get to.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family-owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
Check this intro out. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Do it like that.
Great. I thought I was watching The Exorcist there for a minute.
Get out.
Okay.
All right, we're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Brian Northcutt, Steve Chambers, episode 10. 10. 10. X for Roman numerals.
Speaking of soccer, no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do. There's several updates that I haven't covered. We talked about the girls golf team not making it to state, also, but JP Grote, the boys golf team, didn't make it to state either. But JP Grote, boys individual, is going to the state tournament Monday, so he qualified as an individual. They take the top 2 teams from sub-state, and then they take the top 2 individuals not on one of those 2 teams. And JP Grote, in a playoff, made it to the state tournament. We'll be playing at Oxmoor Valley, a Robert Trent Jones golf course in Birmingham, Monday and Tuesday. So y'all support JP. That'll be a great opportunity. I talked to him at church last night, and he shot really well at Terrapin Tuesday, and he has got the skill set that he could win the thing. And so that would be awesome.
He's got the genetics for
he certainly
golf,
does.
apparently.
Yeah, and he's a really good golfer.
That family.
And excited for him. And I know that Lindy and everybody else is very proud of him. So excited for that. We also did not mention earlier, and we've talked about it the last 2 or 3 weeks, is the property tax renewal passed Tuesday.
It did?
Yep.
Good. Did you vote?
I did.
297 to 37.
Yep. The
Well, it's
whopping 300 and something.
Who are those 37 people?
330.
I want to know.
334. That's just not a good
listen,
turnout.
my kids go to Cornerstone, and I voted for it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind paying, continuing
Well, it wasn't a renewal.
everybody else's kids.
I mean, it was a renewal. It was not a new tax.
Right.
I keep screwing that up every time I say it.
Those
But it's over with
37
now.
people listen to you.
In 30 years, they won't have this recorded in 30 years. It's fine.
That's right.
Because it doesn't matter anymore. It's another 30 years before. And
You'll be leading me into the
precinct
to
you know
vote.
what made me
If
feel
you
real
vote in
old?
that, that'll be awesome, huh?
Is 30 years ago was 1995. 95.
that's right.
Like
Your senior year.
Your senior year, like that makes me
Yeah.
feel really old. Because
Yeah.
when I think 30 years, I'm always thinking like 1955 or
Yeah, no,
That was a good
1975.
year, Holly.
I was doing my
I wasn't quite around then.
I was doing my mail forwarding this morning on the computer, and it put me in the 50 to 65 age range. Like, what's your age range? And I'm so used to like the 25 to 45 or that kind of, well, I'm on the tail end of that one. Well, now I'm on the front end of Steve's age group over here.
Actually, I've left that age group. I turned 66 New Year's Eve.
So I had to mark 50 to 65. I'm like, oh,
I
boy.
wish I could.
So anyway, congratulations to JP Grote. Congratulations, Fort Payne City Schools. And I know Brian Jett has sent me a text with that little the thing on there and the numbers. So that new renewal passed. And Steve, let's go ahead and do rain gauge. By the way, hold on, I got to do a segment sponsor. Sorry, I'm all over the map.
Yeah,
hey, I told you.
You got to start with it.
Start with it.
They're not
Okay,
getting
I'll
their
carry it over
their
into the
full
next
15.
one. Okay. Hey, Steve Everhart, we got you, brother. I'm gonna carry you for 2 segments, or no, a segment and a half.
There you go.
All right. First Fidelity Bank, they're in the middle of town, right across the street from the old Jack's Hamburgers, but it's not Jack's anymore.
No.
Those guys have been sponsors with us for the this month.
Yeah,
Did
but
they just finish their first month?
they're
They're
long
WZOB.
time WZOB supporters, and Swap Shop, Sports, Auburn. I mean, they're with us, so we
Even
appreciate
though
them.
Steve's an Alabama guy.
He
sponsors
certainly
Auburn.
is. He's the new district coordinator for the University of Alabama
And
National
sponsors,
Alumni Association.
well, we're not going to talk about that. Sponsors an Auburn radio station.
Well, we may not bring
But
that
you're
up.
you're on the air of an Auburn radio station.
right.
That says a lot. We just get you in a shirt and we'll be good. And
Yeah.
I've seen your tag.
If we,
You're a
if we
Bama
could
guy
go
too.
both ways, we would.
See,
You
I'm
know, we would
drowning
provide
over here.
everything.
The only thing I got's the radio station. At least I'm okay. Anyway, so thank you, First Fidelity Bank. So glad Steve Everhart and the gals at the bank are sponsors of Lunch with Bryan.
I
and Steve.
told Abby and Amanda I'd give them a shout out.
Okay.
They worked the
All right, give them a shout out.
shout out, Amanda and Abby. And quit keeping that 10%. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. They're always in a good mood. Dealing with the public and always in a good mood.
How's the customer service at First Fidelity?
It's
Because that
great.
matters when you go into a bank.
It really
you
does.
know?
Yeah.
I've
And
been
you
there
know
since
that. You do what you're doing.
I've been there since 1967, and of course, I have really no money to speak of, but anytime I get a loan or anything, I do with them. So
they call you Steve.
great.
Are you sure? Did you get paid last month?
That's true.
So we're glad that those guys are sponsors. Go visit them. Steve, you want to do your rain gauge now, or you want to wait till later?
Well, I don't want to leave you hanging. But I will if I need to.
Okay, let's do it later. We'll do it when Scotty leaves there. But anyway, so we were talking earlier about movie theaters and incentivizing business and culture, and you said you want to talk about the Fort Payne retail industry
and restaurants.
And restaurants. So,
yeah, I mean, I really honestly, tourism in our town is very strong. You know, we got a beautiful national park, and we got a state park in DeSoto Park up there. I've been very blessed to live in that area my entire life. So I grew up going to the canyon, going to the management area, and going to DeSoto Falls and all that stuff as a kid, and it's really pretty. And I think when people come through and see it, they kind of want a piece of that, and they want to stay and come back.
A lot
you
of
know,
people.
and I don't want our city to be like the next Gatlinburg or nothing like that.
No.
But I honestly don't know that you can have too many choices to eat at as far as restaurants or retail shopping. You know, and I'd like to see us somehow balance that on the north end. You know, I've had the opportunity to meet with Brett Johnson and sit down and talk with him about some of his ideas. I think he's going to bring a lot of new energy to that position in economic development, and we just got to get a good plan together.
Yeah, and your study of that, because that is fascinating to me, because everybody is drawn to here. If those of you don't know, when we leave here,
you have to go.
We need a red light right here.
No, you have to go to Walgreens
through the grass
and go and drive around, because this is not a
I can make that left
lane.
turn.
That's not a merge lane.
I know it's not, but
I
I make it
it'll
one.
be your fault.
Do what?
I said if you have a wreck, it'll be your fault, because
All right, Jamie.
Don't. We work here, so it's happened to us.
I bet it has. It is. But this whole end of town is just covered up.
Mess.
So what is there a certain philosophy that in your research and kind of digging around and being prepared for the election and maybe serving as city council? What's the secret? How do you make that happen? And that what we're talking about, just to be clear, is how do we not log jam this whole end of town with all these businesses, not spread them out towards the north end?
So from my understanding, and Brett would know way more about this than I do, but from our conversations, that all these businesses are looking at a traffic count.
Yeah.
The 35 traffic count is what you're after, because businesses need people in front of them to stop and shop and buy and whatever. But we have some businesses on the other side of town at the next exit north, and they are a smaller size business that don't require such a large traffic count. So Brett's idea or our idea was to kind of come up with a truck stop or some kind of something on the backside of that.
Buc-ee's.
That would.
Yes.
I don't know if we can go that big. We don't have 30 acres
Go big
there
or go home,
to develop.
Scotty.
That's right.
But if we could do something,
Jameis Winston used to say, if you're going to do it, do a big den.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I got to mention Jameis Winston a lot.
You know, if we could do something like that, would be the next tier up, and then we could start working off.
So you need
their
an anchor.
numbers.
You need something that's going to anchor that north end.
We got to build up to the anchor.
Okay.
We can't just get an anchor.
Okay.
You got to level that up.
Okay.
And
what would be the first level?
Probably some type of truck stop.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Some type of nicer truck stop or something that would get the traffic count up and be, just another place to stop and shop, and then you could develop behind that a little bit further there. I think there's 2 different property owners up there on that. I think I was kind of looking at it online, and I think there's a couple parcels that was right around 5-6 acres, something like that, and that's about what size your average truck stop is 5 or 6 acres, something like that. And
There's I guess you'd say a dilapidated old store, convenience store with
on 222 right off.
The Mapco right there on the. I would be on the
Used
other
to have
side
the
of
best
that.
coffee in Alabama or
Did
something. Didn't they have a sign
like
up?
What is that, Buddy the Elf?
cleared off behind it, but I don't know if there's any plans for it, or if you could just tear it down and
I don't
bring
know.
in something.
What about the
you're
next
talking
exit?
about.
I guess is that too.
Well, that property's kind of weird. It's not really zoned for that, from
Okay.
my understanding.
Okay.
And some of the residents, because I was fortunate enough to work on some of the houses that back up to some of that property on the 49th Street exit, and they weren't really for any kind of
traffic.
Not industrial, but like a truck stop or anything right there. But we just got to figure it out and have a plan. That does everything.
Because I'm sure you probably have, and I don't know what you've heard from residents, you got some people who probably, I'm pretty good with the size of the town and everything we got right now, and I don't want anything to change. Do you hear comments both for and against growth, or how do you define that? Like, how do you decide this is how big we collectively want to be, or this is how small we want to be? And, you know, because you talked about Gatlinburg, and you know, you could argue this is
Little Gatlinburg.
This is Little Gatlinburg. I mean, it's very much like that kind of size
We should
town.
need a theme park.
That's right. Hollywood. No,
No,
that's already
it's
Hollywood.
Alabama Wood.
Alabama Wood. Yes, get Randy and them to start us a theme park somewhere.
There's not a ton of property, really, is there? To
Well, not
expand?
necessarily, but if
Anyway.
if you look at some of the stuff, there is some avenues that we could do, and we got to manage like it took a long time to get that 49th Street exit, and there's no fault to that. It just takes a long time when you're dealing with the state and all that stuff. And we finally got it. I think we should take advantage of it.
For me to go home.
It certainly does.
What if we widened the north Y all the way to the city limits to Bullcraft? We got schools, we got complexes. What if we threw another hotel on that property we own across from Little Ridge?
Okay.
Where do your ball teams stay right now? We've got a
know.
brand new facility. There's nowhere for them to stay.
I saw them. They're doing the paving on it now.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
But that thing is covered up. I'm going to tell you this right now. Those fields going to turf is a game changer. Are we already at a break? Holy cow. I'm sorry. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Time flies.
I know it. It's really good.
Carry.
That's Holy cow. All right. We'll be right back with more Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
Hi, this is Brian Jett, Superintendent for Fort Payne City Schools, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
When you need to give something special, visit Tracy's in North Fort Payne. Beautiful floral arrangements, fresh or silk, stylish jewelry, scented candles and pampering products, cuddly stuffed animals, balloons, and candy. Tracy can help you put together the perfect gift and gourmet basket. Potted plants or hanging baskets with fresh spring flowers. At Tracy's, you're sure to find that unique gift that shows just how much you care. Tracy's is located at 2103 Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to noon. For every occasion, visit Tracy's full-service florist, personalized printing, and gifts.
Hello, this is Mike Shirey with the Fort Payne Improvement Authority. Spring is an exciting time of warmer weather and new growth, but it's also a dangerous time. We all remember the tragic storms of April 2011 and lives lost and the scars that remain. We're reminded of the season and how the storms can impact our lives. We would like to take this opportunity to encourage everyone to stay safe and have a safety plan when the storms come. Always remember to stay away from any downed power lines or anything contacting those lines. Never try to move a power line, and do not drive over a downed power line. If your vehicle is in contact with a power line, stay in the vehicle until help arrives. Stay alert and stay safe from your friends at Fort Payne Improvement Authority.
We are back, Lunch with Bryan and Steve. This is Steve's, when did you cut this album right here? Is that you, that velvety?
Apparently when I was falling asleep.
That velvety voice right there. That's old Steve Chambers in there. I'm just kidding. That's not Steve Chambers. That's not copyrighted. YouTube, please do not shut us down.
No, it's not.
We made that mistake a couple weeks ago, and
couple of times.
we will not make it again.
Golly.
We will not play videos.
Yeah.
We will not play somebody's
And then I
copyrighted
about got
music.
scammed.
Yeah, and then Holly almost shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, because they were like, we're going to delete your Facebook page, and I was like, oh gosh, and then they said, we want your password, and I said, wait a minute,
that ain't right.
I don't know about that. So Google anyway.
All right,
Scams, be on the.
We're back, and we're going to give First Fidelity Bank a little half a segment here because I brought them in too late last segment. So First Fidelity Bank, a sponsor for Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Glad to have you guys. Again, I wish there's so many times that we sit here and talk on or off air and kind of chit chat about stuff, and then so we're gonna dive a little bit into this. You had mentioned the North End complex, and then we talked about the 35 ramp or the runaway truck ramp and all that kind of stuff. Give us some of your thoughts on some of these things, and let's dive in. Let's see if we can stir something up in here.
We gotta start a pot.
Going back to maybe putting some hotel up there across from Little Ridge, we've got to fix the traffic.
You're talking about on 49th and Galt on the
where 49th goes into where the old bakery used to be.
Yeah,
right there, that highway right there.
Yeah,
we need to widen that first before we really get into a lot of this.
Ooh,
because that school traffic right now, man,
rough.
it's tough when you go down through there, and we just need to make it make sense. And if we can get in front of it and have a plan where we're looking at all the parts and understand how everybody can help and how much the city would have in it.
It seems like when you're coming to these tournaments, and that parking lot is full. On weekends. I mean, most weekends. And I was going to say this earlier, that game changer when you've got fields, like before they redid the fields, there was, if it sprinkled on Monday morning, they'd cancel games Monday, Tuesday, and you might get to play Thursday.
Yeah.
And now if it just stops raining, they'll play in rain. But if it stops raining and there's no inclement weather, you can hop right back out there and you can go to town. And it seems like there should be some accessibility, because when you get done with the game or you've got a break, what if you've got restaurants, hotels right there immediately? Because otherwise you got to drive. And that should be a pull.
I have heard that there's not enough hotels in Fort Payne for these tournament teams coming in. There's nowhere for them to go. They're traveling to Rainsville and other places.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've got this money invested in our complex, and I think it was a good move to get that up and going, because it not only covered soccer, it got baseball and softball and Little League and all that stuff as well. They're brand new fields. I think it's about an hour after a heavy rainstorm they can resume play. It just, you don't have rainouts like you talk about, and I believe that the complex is booked about 40 weekends out of the year.
Yeah.
So the idea would be to get some investments of somehow and keep those dollars when they come to our town to stay all day. And you guys all have children, play ball tournaments and stuff. I've traveled playing men's softball. We hang out all day at that town when we're playing a tournament. So, you're there spending money in your local restaurants and shopping in your stores, because there's nothing to do between. If you've got a 4-hour break between games, if you're in a winner's bracket, and you
they'll go to a movie.
Break, they'll go to a movie. They'll go eat dinner somewhere.
Cool off.
Or something.
Absolutely.
And if it gets too late, they're going to need somewhere to stay. So all that's just keeping that dollar in our city and turning itself over and over and over again. That, to me, is some decisions that I think we could get the public behind.
Yeah.
But you're probably right. I think it's a great idea, but there's going to be people out there on the north end of town that want no part of it. You know, and that's just, I don't know how we get past that.
Yeah.
It's
going to be different views. And, I think you've got to make the best decision as you think is workable for everybody. But we are, I don't say growing, but we have the accessibility to grow. I mean, if all the infrastructure is there and the tools are in place, I've always heard that Fort Payne sitting in the center of a hub of 4 or 5 major areas: Birmingham, Huntsville, Chattanooga, Atlanta, and we're kind of in the center of that hub, and we can get traffic from interstate commerce down 59. Any truck going from Atlanta to Huntsville is coming most likely through Fort Payne.
Yeah.
And so you're heavy trafficked area, and so you just got to make a decision on what it is that you think Fort Payne needs to be and how you want to vote for that, and that's going to determine what the council looks like.
Well, for sure. I mean, I just want people to know kind of what I stand for before we go into it, because I don't want them to think that I'm this guy running and campaigning and I'm this guy as a council person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Albeit I'll probably change a little bit because I'll have a little bit more
More
knowledge than I have right
information,
now. But I'm trying to put the effort and, study everything that I can, meet all the people, and talk to everybody that I possibly can to get informed before I get in office. So there's not a gap, if you will, or whatever, of us figuring out how to operate.
Yeah.
But like the housing industry and stuff, we have a housing shortage.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's got to be done right. We have to be careful with that, or you'd flood the market or whatever. But we could sell some more houses.
Yeah.
We could use some more places for people to live.
Claire.
Yeah.
People are always looking for rentals too.
Yes.
It's hard to find a rental around here.
Do you know how far along they were on the? They were building a sports complex at the north end of town, almost on the foot of the mountain. Do you know how far along they'd gotten with that?
You got to talk in the mic, Steve. Hey, we've been doing this 10 episodes. Get yourself up in the mic.
Yes, dear.
Yes, Martha. I mean, Brian.
Well, from what I understand, we were just doing some of the groundwork, and we were trying to do that in-house to conserve some money. And I just think it got to a point where it was going to be more money than we had to spend. I mean, I can't tell you for certain on that, but that's what I've heard.
You had an idea there. You said, do you want to share that on the air?
Well, we can. I mean, if we need places to build housing, and we've got a couple hundred acres up there, if we come up with some kind of idea or some kind of plan where we partner with like Katie Britt's office, and maybe we get them to help pay for some infrastructure stuff, because that would be economic development.
Yeah.
And her office is big on economic development.
Yeah.
Because if we have, say we had another 150, 200 houses up there that came in phases, the city wouldn't build none of that. We would just use some of the equipment tools we already have in place. We're already paving our city streets. So we would get all the subdivision stuff engineered out, get it all developed, right? And then we would auction it off to individuals first. Okay. The citizens would have first chance at it. And then they would, have stipulations. We would restrict it to some sizes and make sure the quality's there.
Yeah.
The top home we need for that area. And we would, we phase it out where you're not, say there's 200 lots there. We weren't going to sell all 200 lots at one time, expect it to all be built at one time. We need to phase it in so we don't tank our real estate market and give somebody an opportunity to build a new home or buy a new home, and have some deals there where the first auction would be to the citizens. The second auction would be to local business owners that a developer that has a business license in the city of Fort Payne that has a reputation to build a good home. You know what I mean? We would get them in next, and then the third tier would be outside people.
Okay.
I don't think we need a D.R. Horton in here to build a bunch of houses.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we need that. But if we can incentivize by doing some stuff that we're good at, I feel like we're good at building and paving roads. We've got the crews, we've got the setups to do that. We own the property already.
Yeah.
If we could get some help with the infrastructure, it just seems to make sense to me. You just got to talk to the right people.
Yeah.
And you got to have a plan.
Yeah.
And I may be making everybody on the north end of Fort Payne mad, but it is what it is. That's how I feel about it.
We got to throw ideas out there, and we can debate. I've always been of the opinion that I don't have to take a debate personally.
Yeah.
Now, some people will, and some people will get riled up over things, and fair, that's your right to get riled up about it. I just don't think it's worth a ton of energy to just try to demand a certain way. I mean, we're all community citizens, and we're trying to make the best Fort Payne we can make. That's what this whole show's about.
Yeah.
Fort Payne and DeKalb County. We're wanting to give you information and let you make your informed decision, but make it an informed decision. Don't just, we live in a culture, my gracious. We will fire off with little to no information. Sounds just like my family when we're having discussions. Wait a minute. Where are we going? No, hold on, kids. That's not what was said.
Hold on.
So I can have that conversation with a 10-year-old. That same conversation with a 45-year-old, come on.
Yeah.
Just get information and make a decision. So
yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the things, we was talking about kind of why I'm running, like the communication, and then I think the culture. The culture of our city and everything has a big role in everything that we do. And I think from a city council standpoint, we all have to work together.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to talk to one another. We have to be able to be in the room with one another.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's huge. I mean, I feel like everybody that said they're running, I know them some way, somehow, and I feel like I can sit down and have a frank conversation. And I do have opinions and I do have ideas, but I'm I'm trying real hard not to be a know-it-all.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be that guy
Yeah.
where you won't talk to me because you think I've got a predetermined opinion. That's the only one that I have. I'm not that way.
Mhm.
If you come to me with something, I will truly listen to your ideas.
Yeah.
Because that's how I got to be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Every homeowner brings something new to the table. They want something different, and you learn from that experience, good or bad, and move forward. So
fair enough. All right. Well, it's time for a commercial break. And our time with Scotty Vaughn has come to a close. Thank you so much. That was a really fun interview. You never can tell when you start this thing how this thing's going to go. But it was really entertaining. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Good luck in your campaign. And thanks for joining us on Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. We'll be right back. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
DeKalb Fix-It Appliance Warehouse is a mouthful, so Terry and Bobby have decided to drop the fix-it and focus on giving you the best prices on new appliances. Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, Amana, LG, Samsung, GE, and more. Up to 75% off retail price on new scratched and dent appliances. And as your Electrolux and Frigidaire dealer, DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is passing on more savings to you with even more new in-box selections. Need a refrigerator? Come in today and shop our overstocked warehouse. You will not get a better deal anywhere. We guarantee to match or beat any price. In-house service available to all as well. Used appliances will now be available at our previous location on Godfrey Avenue, along with the same computer sales and repairs our customers have come to enjoy. The DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is open weekdays 9 to 5, Wednesdays and Saturdays 9 to 2, located on Airport Road in Fort Payne.
This is Robbie Coker with McNeese State Basketball, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB. Go Pokes.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
Welcome back. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. And Holly and I were just having an interesting conversation about how can women take so much longer before they have to go to the bathroom than men.
Yeah, I was getting on to Bride.
I was telling Martha was a kindergarten teacher 31 years, and she went to the bathroom at 7:45 in the morning and then held it to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But
yeah,
men cannot do that.
No, it is a challenge.
Especially the older you get.
So here's the plug. We need more sponsors so that the commercial breaks are longer. Hang on, I got to send Scotty a liner. We're going to get a liner from him, so hang on just a second.
Goodness.
Hey, Scotty, you're just going to have to adapt what I'm about to send you to you. All right, you can do that. Let me send this to him real quick. Anyway, hey, let me. Can we show him the new lights? Can you tell if you comment on Facebook?
The new lights?
Yeah, the new lighting.
I can't see with my
What do you
glasses
mean?
on.
Like,
hang on just a second.
Gosh. Okay.
Right here.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, this is.
Oh my goodness! Oh, you're showing them our terrible This is awful.
Our palatial studio.
Hi.
So this is our studio.
Yeah, this is awful. Yeah, that's not this. That's not what's supposed to be.
Palatial comes to mind. Palatial comes to mind.
Ryan, look.
The backside of
The backside.
Our
Yeah.
humble
Behind the
beginnings.
curtain. They get to see behind the curtain.
Hang on, I got to send Scotty this liner stuff. He's going to do a liner for us in there with Cindy. So,
Oh, I forgot to give him the trivia question.
Oh, what was the trivia question?
How long has Fort Payne had a mayor and 5 city councilmen? It's
3 months.
Yeah, you're close. Since July 1st, 1889.
Oh, no, it's a little longer than 3 months.
Technically, the councilmen were called aldermen until March 1st.
What does that mean? Does anybody know what that means?
Alderman?
Yeah.
That's what they have in Chicago. I
know. What is that?
I think corruption when I hear that because of Chicago.
What is an alderman? Like, how did that, what's the origin of that?
Scotty, I don't know.
What is alderman? Where did that come from? Well, I know, but how do you, like, alder? What?
I could Google it.
Yeah, let's see what that is.
goodness,
Go ahead and work on that. Steve,
All
give
right,
us a
I'll
rain
Google
gauge
it.
report. I've been riveted. I couldn't sleep last night.
I know.
Trying to figure out what is our
I
range
had to
total.
check it this morning. I didn't think we had any rain. The fog was so thick. It
Now,
had
it rained pretty good the other
moisture in
day,
it.
Sunday, this last weekend.
Yeah, the first 8 days of
Hey, let me
May.
guess. Okay, let me guess.
Okay.
So first 8 days, 1 3/4 inches. Am I close?
Fairly close.
Really?
You're 1 inch off.
Oh.
Okay. Go ahead.
2.75 inches.
Oh, 2 3/4. All right. What is what's alderman? How did that
All
come
right, the
to
title is derived from the Old English title of elder, ealdorman, which literally means elder person.
So somebody with wisdom, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
Elderman.
An
Okay.
elder person.
All right.
Yep.
That'll work. I'll
You learn
trust you with it.
something when you tune in to Lunch with Bryan and
That's
Steve.
right.
You're
We're
going to learn
always going
something.
to be informative. We're going to be riveting. We're going to be engaging.
Riveting.
Would you like to hear a Yogi Berra quote of
Yes,
the
let's
day?
do a Yogi Berra. Let's do them all. Hey, Steve's got all kind of show prep that we've been missing out on the last 2 weeks because I've been yapping.
I can't ever tell where you're going. That's why you're so endearing.
That's not what Claire said, but that's okay.
Yeah, you're just a blessing. Okay.
I think honestly, I think it's the coffee. I'm feeling like
You're like,
Will
"Woohoo!"
Ferrell and Kicking and Screaming. Do you remember that when he discovered coffee? And it gets real jittery.
I didn't see that
When
one.
our dog Chance gets in trouble, Martha goes, like she's speaking, like Chance is speaking. First of all, I'm a delight. So you're going to put up with this. She does fix him biscuits and gravy sometimes.
A dog?
Yes, because Chance is special.
Wow.
Is that your term or Martha's term?
Well, I love Chance. He's
Okay.
German short-haired pointer.
Yeah.
And when he chases a rabbit, we can go rabbit holes. When he chases a rabbit, he's smart. He doesn't just go after it. He does like a pursuit angle and goes where he thinks the rabbit's going to run.
Is he right?
Okay.
Yeah, he's usually right.
Is that right?
Wow.
Okay, so give us a
Smart.
Yogi Bear
It's
quote.
quality
Yogi
entertainment.
Berra, not Yogi Bear. Hey, boo boo.
Is that a big enough
Hey,
basket?
boo-boo. 90% of the game is half mental.
90% of the game is half
All right, I got to be honest. I
mental.
think you did that one last week. What did you do last week? That sounds like the one.
No, that
No.
wasn't last
Okay,
week.
all right.
That wasn't it.
I did one mental is to physical is 3:1, but that was Napoleon.
Mental is
Mental
to
is to physical is 3:1. In other words,
And it's way more mental than it is physical.
in other words,
Gosh.
you get 3 times more tired when you're
Trying to
mentally
figure that
drained
out?
than when you're physically drained. That's what
Yeah,
I
I think
take
that's
out of.
that's probably true.
Okay, my Winston Churchill.
There we go.
A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, and an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty.
Ooh. I got to tell you this story. All right.
Please do.
When I was teaching at Opelika, we had the first 15 minutes of the day was character education. Did y'all ever do that? Like you
Yeah,
had a little
we
character
did,
ed where you
because we
read
had some characters.
So I had a class of not AP. Let's put it that way.
Not advanced placement.
Not the sharpest tax.
So we were doing the character ed story was for the day was that in the Chinese alphabet symbolism, whatever it is, they use the same symbol for crisis as they do opportunity. It's the same symbol when you're in Chinese or Mandarin or whatever the language is. So the same symbol they use for crisis and opportunity. So you can imagine where this went. All right.
Yeah.
So you could either view
Right.
every circumstance as either a crisis or an opportunity. And so being not AP class, I wanted to make sure they understood what crisis was. And so I said, so first off, do you guys know what a crisis is? And Andre says, yeah, Coach, that was Jesus' last name.
That's great.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that was so funny.
I'm at a loss for words.
That was one of the funniest. I mean, one of those moments. And I mean, I didn't have to say a word to him because the entire class
just busted out,
just laid into him.
You know, that's so funny. We were at the softball team. I was sitting there in between my mother and another kindergarten teacher, and they were swapping stories just like that. Like somebody needs to write a book or a comic strip. You know that.
Oh, it was so funny.
That
It was absolutely hilarious. So. What else you got there, Steve? Give us something else.
I got a Mark Twain quote.
You got to talk in the mic.
Yeah, it's just I'll do sign language.
That doesn't work on the radio, there, Steve.
Yeah. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Mark Twain.
There you go.
There you go.
And I want to brag on.
That sounds like that investment advice. You know, the best investment advice. When should you invest in your retirement?
Now.
20 years ago. There's 2
Yeah.
days. 20 years ago and today.
Yeah.
You should have started a long time ago, but if you didn't, then start right now. So I think that's what you were saying there, sort of.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was all about investment.
It's more eloquent the way you put it. I have to stumble around a little and get my inner Southerner.
Hey, by the way, Steve is real Southerner too. Like when we talk off air.
What tipped you off? I want to brag on some of our local athletes.
Yes, let's do.
Okay, Brody Dalton from Fife High School.
That's right. That's cool.
Via
UAB
and Troy signed with the University of Alabama. Tight end, inline tight end, as they say. In other words, he's a old-fashioned blocker.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that is big. From
it is
Fife. That's
big.
awesome.
When's the last time? I mean, Fife had the Anderson kid at Auburn, but he's still there? Is he not, or is he gone? I don't know.
They had that running back that was so good.
Went to Clemson.
Yeah,
went to Clemson.
And they're gonna put him at linebacker.
When's the last time somebody from Fife went to? Has there ever been?
Surely.
Signed with Alabama? Surely there's been somebody.
Danny Ridgway.
Okay, yeah.
73.
Okay. My dad's probably yelling right now.
They had to put in when he was a freshman in 73, he would run in and call the play and come back. Coach Bryant would do that.
That was his only job. He wasn't even in the play, or no? He
correct. That's correct. So that they made the Danny Ridgway rule, where you couldn't do that anymore.
Is that right?
Starting in 74. Yeah,
that's
Coach
cool.
Bryant. It's just a way of
that would be a good way to
messing with people.
Hey,
Coach
by the way,
Bryant
I saw a podcast it had the guy from Michigan that got Harbaugh in trouble with signal stealing. You heard of this? Where he
assistant coach.
So it's a really good. It's Crane and Company. You need to go watch it. It's a podcast with Crane and Company, and they interview this guy on all the sign stealing and how he was like military, and got into college coaching somehow because he could decipher codes, and so he could read signals and all the boards that everybody uses now, and how he came up with it, and how he learned, and how he could pick up signals. But he got in trouble because he was going to other teams, and he was on the sideline with other teams other than Michigan and starting to work on signal stealing.
How did he do that? Who is that?
It's Rain Man.
But it was really cool. He could pick up within the first drive, and he talked about how he would learn the signals, and they would have tape of teams and study what their signals meant and how they could figure out who the dummy signaler was.
Yeah, is that just part of the game? Like that? Yeah, I was watching baseball. I mean, it's all over my feed, and how the runner on second was like picking up on what the pitcher was going to pitch, and so he was, putting one arm down for this pitch. Anyway, so that's just part of the game, right?
That's part of the game. Now in baseball, what they'll do is turn around and they'll hit you the next time, or the shortstop will walk over to that guy and goes, "Hey, listen. If you keep doing that, the next time you're up to bat, we're going to catch one in the ear."
in professional baseball, but then if you're a pitcher, you get thrown out, right? If you hit somebody, professional.
Yeah, but you got to defend your turf.
Yeah. There was some screaming going on in the hole. Yeah, I like John Boy, even though he's got a potty mouth. I try to.
Who is that?
John Boy. Anyway, Google him. He does little
Not John Boy and
lip reading with baseball highlights.
Oh, you don't want to do
It's
that.
a lot of fun. Yes, they have potty mouths. They are throwing it around left and right.
They itch a lot.
Good night. Like, golly bum.
Oh.
Yeah. But aside from the foul language, it's really entertaining.
That's funny.
I enjoy it.
I'll make a note of that too,
John
along with
Boy.
my 10-10-10 from Chris Dura.
Yeah.
And then I've got my 24-0-0. And then we talked about the overpass with Scotty Vaughn.
Hey, we got some more kids to.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we
there's
got
more
off the
kids.
So we got the
Who else?
Dalton kid from Fife, and then
Yeah, and I was going to tell one story first.
Okay. And then we got to go to break, and then we got to come back.
Back in the day when I was before I did the PA, I did a chain gang.
Yeah.
And I was always the guy on the line of scrimmage. And we were playing Johnson when there was Johnson High School.
Yeah.
And it was so easy to figure out their play, listen to their coach. If it was a vehicle, a Cadillac, Ford, whatever, it was going to be a pass, and anything else was going to be a run. So when I held on to the pole, if it was a pass, I held it up here. If it was a run, I held it here. And we upset those folks. Not causing me, but we knew what was coming.
You figured it out. We're going to come back from a break, and we'll talk about these other athletes. We're going to take one more break, then we'll get back with more Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't give you enough time.
With summer just around the corner, it's time to schedule your pool opening with Rawson Pools. With 30 years of experience installing, repairing, and maintaining pools, Rawson Pools is your best choice to keep that backyard getaway the envy of the neighborhood. And for all you who enjoy servicing your own pool, Rawson Pool has a supply store stocked with the highest quality products and materials to keep your pool ready for those hot summer days. Rawson Pool and Supply Store is located in Rainsville on Main Street next to Toke Restaurant. Rawson Pool and Supply Store, the pool professionals.
Hey, it's Chris Stewart, the voice of the Crimson Tide, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB Radio. Roll Tide.
Do you need to declutter? Wish you could free up some valuable space at work or home? Helium Mini Storage has climate control units available, and all their units are gated for maximum protection. You can also store your stuff at home with their Four Seasons or Max Steel storage buildings for sale. Just come by Helium Mini Storage on Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And while you're there, be sure to check out play sets for the kids. Store your stuff with Helium Mini Storage.
We're back, Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Final segment. We were just talking about that liner from Chris Stewart that Steve got a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to try to get Andy Burcham. You ought to be able to do that with connection to the Auburn
Station.
Network. Is John Cole still in charge over there?
I don't know.
Who's your contact? Do you know?
Yes, Brad Law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to email him and get him to do a liner. He's from Piedmont. Did
Brad
you know
Law
that?
is?
Yeah.
I didn't know
From
that.
Piedmont, and then tell him that he may. Well, that'd be a stretch. He might know who I am.
I'm lost in this conversation.
I'm sorry, but Brad Law and Andy Burcham, get them some liners. Get us some liners from the Auburn folks too.
Yeah. Well, if you do have an opportunity to go down every fall.
But I don't get
to
an opportunity to
represent.
see Andy Burcham every fall.
Sometimes they're a little busy.
Now I was on his radio show one time years ago when I was living in Auburn, but it was. I'm not sure if he'll remember who I am.
I'm sure he will.
Nobody can forget you, Bryan.
That's right.
Unforgettable.
Well, the funny thing is when you have the last name Northcutt and you live in Auburn, there's a massive real estate company in Auburn, Northcutt Realty.
Okay.
So living there for 20 years, guess what? I got asked all the time.
Do you have a place?
Are you one of the Northcutts?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I am the Northcutt, actually.
So funny that that you're in
It's
that
such
business now.
Yeah, it's such. I know it. We're Northcutt Real Estate, so, but
Northcutt
we're not a
Properties.
sponsor yet. So
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Well, that would be complicated, wouldn't it?
yeah, is that a conflict? No, I don't think it's a conflict of interest. Anyway, I don't know.
like
All right. So
Okay.
we got some more news here.
Brag
Steve's got
on
some
more of
riveting
our
statistics here.
athletes. Lucas Talent.
Yeah.
My buddy going to Huntington College. They cannot block him. They can only hope to hold him.
That's right. Is he going to go? I wonder, is he going as a D end?
I guess.
I thought I saw that.
He's a small. Does it say defensive end? It's a small.
It doesn't say. But
I mean, he was small for 6A ball.
I know
in college, but he's a tough cookie, boy.
He is. I'm gonna wear a Huntington cap one day just in honor of him.
Yeah, Nolan Fowler's down there.
Yeah,
Ethan McElhaney's down there.
Yeah, I got a lot of guys.
There's somebody. Connor Cash.
Are they Division II?
I think they're 3.
Division III. So if they're Division III, it's you get it.
Speaking of next week,
more
by
of
the
an
way,
academic scholarship.
but we ought to get. So next week, just a quick plug right here. Next week on Lunch with Bryan and Steve, we'll have Greg Fowler.
That's right. Nolan's granddaddy.
Yeah, which is Nolan's. And I may see if he'll bring Nolan with him. We can talk. Of course, Nolan's pretty quiet. He's kind of quiet.
Is he in town?
Yeah,
though?
he's back from college, I think, for the summer.
Okay.
I asked Shirley if he was going to be playing any summer ball anywhere, and I don't think he is, but I could be wrong. But we'll see if Greg will bring Nolan with him.
Okay.
And that's like talking to a bunch of old people.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fascinated to come out here.
Yeah.
He'll think it's a really big deal to be on here.
I'm
Lunch
sure
with
he
Bryan and
will.
Steve.
Yeah.
But next week's Greg Fowler in studio, who was the road manager, what did you call it? Was station? He's not station manager. That's what you do.
That's Holly.
The road manager for the Alabama band.
Yeah.
So
he's been working with them for years.
Yeah, long. He's been
Back
here as long as they've
Florida.
been here.
I think they actually moved up from Florida.
No,
to
it was Myrtle
South
Beach.
Carolina.
Myrtle Beach. My bad. Well, the beach.
I'd never heard that story, and Shirley told me that story one day at church, and I was like, "That is really cool."
Yeah.
So he was a DJ. He was a radio DJ that was promoting Alabama over in Myrtle Beach, and when they started on the rise, they asked him to come on board and be their manager.
Yeah.
And so they moved from Myrtle Beach. He and Shirley moved to Fort Payne, and of course Jay and Jordan and
I would just
what's
like
the
to
other one?
say
Jordan and who? The twin.
I don't know.
Oh man, Shirley's gonna be yelling at me.
Anyway.
Whatever. But they moved here, and of course Jay graduated with you.
Yep.
And Gina's a year older.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan and Emma.
That's right. Emma's a little older, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's at Mississippi State, Hale State.
Good people.
There's your phone. Answer
Yeah,
that.
sorry about
so
that,
go ahead,
everybody.
finish your stats. Here we go.
Okay, Dax Barnador, who
Yeah, you were telling me this earlier.
Yeah, he signed a scholarship with Mars
Mars
Hill
Hill.
in Tennessee. Of course, the Fort Payne's record was 10-3 last year, won 10 straight. He had 2,700 yards passing, and he had 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, 222 yards rushing. But the career numbers, passing yards 6,426.
Wow.
Rushing yards 603, and then 8 total all-purpose. Okay, all-purpose 7,029 and 65 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's
Who's this?
Dax
Barnador.
Oh, okay. Now, where's he going?
It's Mars Hill in Tennessee.
Are you
which
listening?
is-
Come on, Eli, pay
Look,
attention.
my phone rang. I
She's
was
over there
trying to figure
texting.
out. No, I was trying to figure out who do I know from Aliceville. So, sorry.
But he,
I
I'm
bet
sure
that's gotta
Mars
be a
Hills is
full payment.
great, but I was thinking Jacksonville State,
Yeah.
UNA, or
Yeah, they pushed him out there pretty hard, and he just, I don't know if it's his height. He's not over 6 foot, so that may have hurt him a little bit. But he's a good
Boy,
quarterback.
He
now.
is a good
spin it, and
quarterback.
he's got wheels, and he's smart, and
He works hard too.
Yeah.
I
I could have
bet
been. I could have been his agent.
His agent, yeah. Get you a little NIL
got
deal.
some wheels.
I wonder if Mars Hill's got NIL money. We'll need to find out from
Hey,
Rick.
speaking of NIL, and okay, so I'm going to show my ignorance about this, but Alabama didn't lose any players. Did y'all hear about that in the portal or whatever?
The football team?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
not after spring practice.
Yeah.
They had lost some,
Before.
after the season was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, they retained. They did a good recruiting job keeping what they had, and then they had like the number 3 recruiting class in the country. So
Yeah.
and this might be the only year Alabama can sneak up on somebody. So I'm hoping that'll be
That
the
is
case.
this NIL stuff is going to get out of control.
Especially in high school. I mean, that's just
it's-
nuts.
You can't allow this kind of freedom without it coming around to bite you on some other end, because there's no way that you can sustain that kind of outflow of cash without any guarantees, with people shifting and swapping teams every year. Just the tracking of those dollars, it's going to get lost, and you're going to end up double paying, overpaying, and when that bubble bursts, it's got to crash.
Our basketball teams will have a much different look next year. Alabama and Auburn.
Completely, Auburn's completely revamped. They don't have, and if Tahad Pettifer doesn't return, I mean, it's an entirely new team. Like nobody from last year.
I'm not sure Alabama has a true point guard because Philon's going to go to the NBA. Looks like.
Is that right?
And Aiden Holloway, I don't. He's more of an off
Uh,
guard, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a 2 guard. He's a shooting guard. He's not as much of a ball handler. He could. He's not going to be Mark Sears good.
Well, they may have just a bunch that can handle the ball, but maybe not.
Did they get a portal guard? I haven't even looked at Alabama's recruiting on the basketball side.
They had 2 excellent guards that were hurt, named Youngblood and Mallet, and
the kid from they got not Youngblood, but the other one, Wrightsell. He'll be back, won't he?
Wrightsell. Yeah. They'll be back. I don't know if any of them are true points.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He thinks they'll be able to shoot better. So, and now if they just play defense,
well, that's not really Nate Oates' forte.
What's the better? We're gonna shoot 120 shots, and then we'll give up a layup. So we can shoot a 3.
So he's worked out all the legit.
Well,
he's got analytics.
Well, we're proud to have him, but
yeah,
I know he preaches defense, so they'll have to play defense a little. They don't have to show up for the
all right,
service.
well, let's see. We've got Steve's rain gauge. We got Lucas Talent. We got Fort Payne softball. Unfortunately, did we talk about that on air? That they went down yesterday, lost to Hazel Green 10-2.
You just said they were out.
Yeah, lost to Mortimer Jordan in the elimination game 11-1. So, but still a good season. They would have been area champs except for that little playing the ineligible player and getting.
You got to have all your I's and T's crossed, boy. I mean, because somebody out there is going to find out and.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was, well, I know it was, and I've heard you say that Nick had said he'd come on the air and explain it, but it was just some kind of oversight with custody issues with
it wasn't in Nick's control by any means. They thought they had it all.
Yeah.
Squared away.
Yeah.
And it's a surprise. And of course, after they turned out they were really good, so they get
once you get really good, then everybody's.
It's like digging up. What can we find?
Yeah. You get a target on your back. Then.
Man, right. Don't you hate that?
So
I do.
Let's do this. Let's go quickly through our sponsors again. I want to make sure that you guys know, and for those of you out there that are interested, and if Holly or Cindy or Tim or even Steve or I connect with you, just know that we're really wanting to promote Fort Payne and really DeKalb County too, because we reach out to there as well. Although, I mean, we're both Fort Payne grad. All 3 of us are, well, 5 of us are Fort Payne. It's a Fort Payne.
Are there more people in here?
This radio station.
Are you seeing people?
We are licensed to Fort Payne and DeKalb County.
Yeah.
This is our first priority.
So we're not.
Unlike other radio stations in town. Just saying.
So, what you're saying, but not saying. Speaking of, I did get the picture just to verify. That's Steve's gun case that he bought at DeKalb Sportsman and Pawn. They got it, and so
all that stuff came from DeKalb Sportsman.
90% of it.
90%.
Okay, so Brian, go visit Brian Jones.
Yeah, go visit Brian.
Go visit Brian Jones up there on the north end of town, DeKalb Sportsman and Pawn. First Fidelity Bank in the middle of town. Steve Everhart and all the gals. Who were the 2 you were giving shout outs to?
Amanda and Abby. Shout out to you, Amanda and Abby.
Thank you guys for sponsoring Lunch with Bryan and Steve. And then, of course, the segment with Chris Dura, Thrive Outdoor. Go visit them. Lee Buffington, just thankful for those guys sponsoring Lunch with Bryan and Steve. And I think it's time for us to take a commercial break. Sorry,
we'll
try to give Holly enough of a cue. And we'll wrap up the show right after this. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Don't let the door hit you.
More and more people are saying goodbye to pests with Safe Solutions Plus LLC. And it's no wonder with their top-notch customer service, quality products, and lower prices. And now with their new website, it's never been easier to manage your pest control service with Safe Solutions Plus. Just visit sspestandtermite.com to view your billing details, make payments online, and review past services. Family-owned and operated, Safe Solutions Plus is located at 934 Main Street West in Rainsville. Call 256-638-7378. Safe Solutions Plus, protecting homes and businesses one solution at a time.
Okay then, bye.
My Supply is my hometown hardware store. At My Supply, I never have to wander aimlessly around the store looking for what I need. I know that when I walk through the door, I'm going to be greeted by a person and helped right away. So whether you're looking for plumbing, electrical, hand or power tools, welding supplies, standard or metric fasteners, or anything else to help with your home projects and repairs, shop My Supply on Godfrey Avenue in Northeast Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. My Supply, your hometown hardware store.
This is Chris Sturra, the voice of the Fort Payne Wildcats. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. I'd love to join them, but some of us have real jobs to get to.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
All right. Well, Lunch with Bryan and Steve, episode 10 is now in the books. We are good to go. Good show, guys. I really enjoyed that, talking with Scotty Vaughn, Vaughn Construction, running for Fort Payne City Council. Had a really good conversation about Fort Payne, the direction the city's going, kind of ideas he had. I thought he had some good comments. I
did too.
I enjoyed
back down from any questions. Yeah, he did a good job.
Listen, we got guys, people who want to promote Fort Payne and make this a better place. It's hard to argue against. So I know we got a lot of other guys running for city council, and some of those that are on the city council that are going to run again. And, we had the idea, and I think we should do this. I think we should promote to the city that Steve and I moderate a debate.
A debate?
Yeah.
Like back and forth debate? Like
Not
a presidential debate?
Yeah, we can do something like
Just
that.
give them questions, and they'll have
And
time to
we'll
like
do the Lunch with Bryan and Steve flair to it. Like we may ask some really random stuff in the middle of it, too.
Yeah, like beach or
Yeah, like would you rather go to
mountains.
the beach or the mountains? Something like that. I mean, that's important, right?
Well, that's just a little levity.
It says a lot about who you are.
Calm down some temperatures, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if we're for Fort Payne, and we want to see the city grow and not necessarily just be a better place. Yes. So excited about that. And by the way, we did find out that the other child is Jordan and Parker. So thanks, Tim Harris. We appreciate you guys
listening.
They're listening to us live. So Tim Harris, shout out there.
Things are slow with the city today.
He's on his lunch. He's taking lunch with Bryan and
That's
Steve.
exactly what
You
we
should
want
take
people
lunch.
to
And
do.
so if you want us at your business, we'll come down there and promote the heck out of you. We'll eat your lunch and let everybody else know about us. And so we actually do have an opportunity to possibly to do a remote here soon.
We'll see.
Yeah. We're not going to mention it.
We're not going to mention it yet.
Shout out to the United States of America.
Oh, yeah.
This date in 1945, German surrender, and in World War II, and this date in 1919, World War I ended. So
Germans are
0-2 in the 20th century. God bless America.
God bless America, guys.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We hope to see you guys next week. Greg Fowler on with us. And as always, just stay tuned. Go share, like, all those things with everything on social media. We're so glad that you joined us and hope that you're enjoying what we're doing. Steve, good job, my man.
Good job, young man.
All right, Holly,
everybody's
thank you.
young to me, though.
Cindy, Tim, thank you guys. And we'll see you next week with Lunch with Bryan and Steve.